Here's a shocking truth that's about to shatter your faith in social media. Those heartwarming photos of your favorite rock legends comforting each other in hospitals and singing at memorial services, they're complete fabrications designed to manipulate your emotions. The synthetic symphony of deception. Picture this. You're scrolling through Facebook when you stumble upon what appears to be an intimate moment between music royalty. There's Steven Tyler, sleeves rolled up, constructing a shelter for rescued dogs with his own hands. Or perhaps it's Mick Jagger, Elton John, and Rod Stewart delivering a moving tribute performance at what's supposedly Ozzy Osbourne's funeral ceremony. Maybe you see Jagger and Tyler bringing comfort to an ailing Phil Collins during his hospital stay, or Bruce Springsteen serenading healthcare heroes with If I Should Fall Behind while visiting his wife Patty at a medical facility. These images tug at your heartstrings, don't they? They feel authentic, personal, and genuinely moving. But here's where it gets controversial. Every single one of these supposedly candid moments is nothing more than artificial intelligence trickery at its most sophisticated. The digital deception doesn't stop at static images either. We're witnessing an unprecedented invasion of synthetic content across the entire music landscape. Just last month, a mysterious musical act called Velvet Sundown materialized on major streaming platforms, accumulating hundreds of thousands of devoted listeners before their creators finally came clean. This wasn't a traditional band at all, but rather what they described as a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction and composed, voiced, and visualized with the support of artificial intelligence. Given this context, the emergence of artificially generated photographs featuring legendary performers was not just predictable, it was inevitable. However, the sheer audacity and emotional manipulation of these fabricated images circulating on Facebook and similar platforms is absolutely staggering. Consider these completely fictional scenarios that have been presented as genuine news. Phil Collins supposedly rescuing a lost child at an airport terminal, while simultaneously reprimanding law enforcement officers for their negligence. Bruce Springsteen allegedly purchasing an entire restaurant establishment solely to distribute complimentary meals to homeless individuals. A fabricated memorial service where Adele and Adam Lambert supposedly performed together to honor Malcolm Jamal Warner. An imaginary birthday celebration where Steven Tyler and Taylor Swift allegedly serenaded Queen Camilla with a personalized rendition of Happy Birthday. Bob Dylan making a compassionate hospital visit to Phil Collins while simultaneously delivering an early centennial birthday cake to Dick Van Dyke. But wait, there's more manipulation at play here. Each of these entirely fabricated visual narratives comes packaged with overly dramatic, emotionally charged descriptions designed to bypass your critical thinking. When Paul McCartney and Collins supposedly made a joint hospital visit to Willie Nelson in Austin, the accompanying text read, "The room didn't feel like a hospital anymore. It felt like the heart of music itself, still beating." And this is the part most people miss. The psychological strategy behind these deceptions. These types of posts definitely tap into nostalgia, and people want to believe these types of things, explains Justin Grome, who founded Clonefluence, a specialized social media marketing and consulting agency focused on the music industry. Even if they aren't real, they're wholesome. It's not a case of fake news in the political sense. It's not really meant to enrage people. It's meant to comfort, which makes it even harder to combat. Because who is going to question something like that makes them feel good? The synthetic nature of these images is so blatantly obvious that they essentially represent the musical equivalent of the classic dogs playing poker artwork, clearly artificial, yet somehow emotionally engaging. Based on user responses accompanying many of these posts, A significant portion of viewers are rejecting them outright, with comments like, "More AI fabricated rubbish. Enough of this AI bullshit. And how gullible are you guys?" Interestingly, when Phil Collins actually required hospitalization for knee surgery recently, his dedicated fan base became genuinely upset and angry when confronted with an AI-generated image showing Paul McCartney visiting him under much more serious medical circumstances. On Genesis and Phil Collins fan message boards, supporters expressed their outrage with statements like, "Get a grip, it's all fake," and "AI sucks." However, here's where the controversy deepens. The majority of these fabricated images specifically target aging rock performers, which significantly increases their believability factor. Given that many of these musical legends are currently in their 70s and 80s, it becomes frighteningly easy to accept scenarios involving their declining health or emotional vulnerability. An artificial image of Eric Clapton supposedly serenading Robert Plant in a hospital hallway, or a synthetic photograph of Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen embracing while tears stream down their faces. These scenarios feel plausible given their advanced ages. One particularly effective AI creation showed Aerosmith's Steven Tyler making a bedside visit to Willie Nelson in a medical facility, which generated genuine concern from fans, with comments like, "Prayers to Willie, and that was nice on Steven going to see him." The doghouse construction image mentioned earlier successfully deceived numerous admirers as well. A fabricated photograph depicting Jimmy Page assisting his former Led Zeppelin bandmate Robert Plant with a wheelchair sparked a mixture of skeptical responses. Last week, it was Phil Collins, alongside genuinely sympathetic ones, "Praying for you to get better," and "You got this, Robert." When Rolling Stone reached out to representatives of the major artists featured in these synthetic images, including Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, Phil Collins, and the late Ozzy Osbourne's estate, the responses were either declined comments or complete silence. Rock Roll Universe, identified as one of the most prominent platforms distributing these artificial images, also failed to respond to email inquiries. While this non-engagement strategy might seem harmless in the short term, given the apparently benign nature of these imaginary photographs, industry expert Grom warns of potential long-term consequences that most people aren't considering. The hardest part about the situation is when artists or their teams don't immediately speak up, he cautions. And if they don't speak up, it kind of validates the image as maybe even true, especially in a scenario like these, where there's enough hope for the public to feel like it's a little bit true. There's a very, very blurry line when it gets to celebrating something and seeing something that's fake. This brings us to a troubling question that demands honest discussion. Are we becoming so emotionally starved for genuine human connection that we're willing to accept artificial substitutes? When synthetic images of Metallica's Lars Ulrich helping James Hetfield blow out birthday cake candles can generate thousands of positive reactions, what does that say about our relationship with authenticity in the digital age? But here's the most controversial part of this entire phenomenon. Maybe we're not just innocent victims being deceived. Maybe we're willing participants in our own emotional manipulation, because these fake moments provide something real that's missing from our actual lives, a sense of community, compassion, and shared humanity among our musical heroes. The question we should all be asking ourselves is this: if these artificial moments make us feel genuinely good, are they necessarily harmful? Or are we witnessing the birth of a new form of digital comfort food that satisfies our emotional hunger, even when we know it's not nutritionally real? What's your take on this digital deception? Are you someone who can spot these AI fakes immediately? Or have you found yourself emotionally moved by synthetic scenarios before discovering the truth? More importantly, do you think artists have a responsibility to actively combat these fabrications, Or should they let fans enjoy the harmless fantasy? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't hold back if you disagree with anything discussed here. This conversation is just getting started, and your perspective might challenge everything we think we know about authenticity in the age of artificial intelligence.